Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is a versus video between Giannis's shoes, right? So we got the Zoom Freak 3, which is his main shoe, and we got the Giannis Immortality, which is his budget shoe, right? So the Zoom Freak 3 is going for 120 bucks, and take $40 off of that price, and we got the Giannis Immortality. It's going for 80 bucks. It's super cheap. So if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But let's get it started off with the Tracciones, and the Giannis Immortality is way freaking better than the Zoom Freak 3. The Giannis Immortality is actually top tier traction. We have a two-tone outsole, so we have a semi-translucent pink and kind of like a peach color. That peach color is a solid rubber, and it's just top tier, guys. I love the bite. There's a nice squeak as well, and also for durability, it should be okay. You know, we have herringbone. The rubber seems very hard, so even for outdoor use, you should be fine. The Zoom Freak 3, on the other hand, I mean, it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great. So I did find myself just like sliding a little bit. It's just like on most stops, you know. I never really had an insanely good bite. So my experience in the Zoom Freak 3, I mean, although it wasn't terrible for the outsole, it just wasn't as good, especially comparing it to the Giannis Immortality. So yeah, the Immortality is going to take the win for the outsole. All right, moving on to the heel to toe transition. They're both very, very good. You know, here in the heel, we have a nice curved shape. I mean, in the Immortality, it's very, very curved. So no problems with that. And then here in the forefoot, we have a lot of curve as well. And look at this. We have a lot of forefoot flex in both of the shoes. So heel to toe transition, you know, when you're running down the court, I had no issues with either of these shoes. And they both feel very fluid and very smooth. All right, moving on to the cushioning setup. Okay, so you would think the Zoom Freak 3 would be better because, I mean, it's $40 more expensive, and if you look at the tech specs, the zoom units should be crazy in the forefoot for the Zoom Freak 3, right? But yeah, no, it's not. The forefoot, you can't really feel the zoom unit really at all. It's bottom loaded, it's super caged, and there's really not even a springy sensation. You know what I mean? So for the forefoot zoom pods, it pretty much might as well not even be there. You know what I mean? So pretty much the Phylon here in the Zoom Freak 3, I mean, there is a little bit of compression on the edges of the foam, but you know, it's like, it's not that nice. But here in the Giannis Immortality though, I don't know what it is. Is it like Phylon? But it's like a softer Phylon, you know what I mean? And there's a little bit of bounce. There's a little bit more compression. It's softer, it feels like, but also very responsive and low to the ground as well. So I would even say I like the Giannis Immortality cushion better than the Zoom Freak 3, which is insane. And it also surprising because if you look at the outsole, especially here on the lateral side of the shoe, it is caged by the rubber outsole. It didn't really matter, obviously. So yeah, I definitely would say I like the Immortality better. All right, moving on to the materials. So the materials, I like both of the shoes actually, right? So here in the Zoom Freak 3, super thin, very comfortable. It's not glued down at all. It feels great on foot. And as far as the quality goes, I would say they both feel nice actually. Here in the Immortality, we have basically a textile material as well. It's super thin too. In both of the shoes, I guess we do have fuse. On the Immortality though, it's more on the medial side of the shoe, which is kind of weird. But you know, on foot, super minimal in both of the shoes. It feels great. Coming here into the midfoot, it's extremely thin for the Immortalities. I mean, it's just paper thin. The Zoom Freak 3, it's super thin as well, but of course we have this stupid burnt comb strap. Doesn't really do anything for lockdown. Doesn't really improve it all too much, in my opinion. It also adds a little bit of bulk and a little bit of weight, so don't really like the strap all too much. Coming here into the tongue actually, the Zoom Freak 3 feels better. You know, the foam is a lot thicker, I would say, so that feels a lot more comfortable and cozier. If you want, obviously, the more minimal option, the Giannis Immortality, the tongue doesn't really have a whole lot of foam. And then here in the ankle area, I would say the Zoom Freak 3 also has a little bit more padding as well. So I guess because of the like a little bit more foam in the Zoom Freak 3 in the tongue and the ankle area, and it's like not too much to the point where it's like bulky or anything like that. I actually really like it. I would say I like the Zoom Freak 3 a little bit better. But as far as the overall materials go here in the toe box, you know, they both feel very similar. All right, now moving on to the fit of the shoe. I like both of the shoes. They fit very similarly as well. I went true to size for both of the shoes, and my toe pretty much goes right to the edge of both of the shoes. For the toe box, it's really snug here in the Giannis Immortality, so just watch out for that. The material does stretch out like a lot, so just give it some time and the fit will loosen up. The Zoom Freak 3, same thing. You know, it's pretty snug. I definitely wouldn't say it's as snug as the Immortality, but it's still kind of snug. But like I said, the materials do stretch out, so I just give it a little bit of time for the Zoom Freak 3 as well. So for the fit, I'll pretty much tie it up. All right, moving on to the support and lockdown. So for lateral containment, I would say the Zoom Freak 3 is better, right? So I had no issues with my foot coming out of the footbed in both of the shoes actually. But for the Zoom Freak 3, it just feels a little bit more supportive. You know, the foam kind of comes up a little bit more here in the forefoot, here in the midfoot, and also here in the heel. So I had no issues with lateral containment for the Zoom Freak 3. The Giannis Immortality, here in the forefoot, like it wasn't a deal breaker or anything, but I can feel my foot kind of like wanting to come out of the footbed a little bit. And I'm a light dude, right? So if you're heavier and you do a lot of lateral movements, lots of cuts, lots of crossovers and stuff like that, you might feel it a little bit more. So definitely watch out for that. But like I said, for me, I didn't have any issues, but I definitely did feel like the Zoom Freak 3 was more supportive for lateral containment. For lateral stability though, let's see which shoe is wider actually. Oh, they're about the same width. I would say the Zoom Freak 3 is a little bit wider, maybe like by a millimeter or two, if as you guys can see here, but that's not a whole lot. So lateral stability, I'll pretty much tie it up, and I didn't really have any issues with like heel slippage or anything. They both have great heel lockdowns, so there is a support and lockdown there. Moving on to the weight of the shoe, I mean, obviously the Immortality is lighter, right? This shoe is like 10 ounces, I think. Yeah, 10.37 ounces, extremely light. The Zoom Freak 3 also is super light though. It's like 11.78 ounces. So it is pretty much like an ounce heavier for the Zoom Freak 3, but still light. And I feel like you definitely do notice the weight though, right? The weight difference actually. So the Giannis Immortality is just extremely light, extremely minimal. You feel super light and very quick on your feet, and also super responsive because the traction is so damn good. The Zoom Freak 3 on the other hand, it's still light and minimal. It feels comfortable on foot as well. But it's not as responsive as the Immortality because the traction just isn't as good there. Moving on to the ventilation, the Giannis Immortality has better ventilation. You know, there is a lot more airflow through the material. The Zoom Freak 3, not as much airflow. And also we got the strap, and then the tongue and ankle area, we have a lot more padding. So the Zoom Freak 3 will overall be hotter. All right, moving on to the aesthetics. Yeah, Giannis Immortality, it looks so much better in my opinion, and a lot of you guys said the same thing on Instagram, so I guess that's just what the majority says. the Immortality looks better. Does anyone actually think the Zoom Freak 3 looks better? Tell us down in the comment section below. So yeah, wrapping things up, $40 price difference. Which shoe is better? Which shoe should you get? So pretty much, I would say in a lot of cases, or most cases, the Giannis Immortality is the better performer. Just cushion is nicer, traction is better, fit, they're both really nice, material super thin and very minimal. Also, the Immortality is lighter. Obviously, just watch out for the support. I don't think it's going to be terrible, especially if you're like a heavier dude, but it's just not going to feel like the most supportive shoe. You know what I mean? So, and I guess if you're looking for the overall more supportive shoe, then go with the Zoom Freak 3. You know what I mean? Every other category, I would say the Immortality is better. So anyways, that about wraps up this versus video. Again, if you guys do want to cop either of these shoes, I'll leave a link in the description box. But I would heavily recommend the Immortality. It's a great performer, and it's only 80 bucks. This colorway is sold out, unfortunately, but there is a pretty dope black and white colorway available on Nike.com. So anyways, I hope this video helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.